Right up there. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you guys hear us? Good morning. We're trying to get everything set up. This is the first time that Papa Jim has joined us for our tea advent calendar. And it's been a while since he's been live. We've just been recovering from our trip. Like Saturday mornings roll around and we're like, are we going live? And it's like, oh my gosh, we're so tired from our trip. But we had a good time. He works all week long, and then I hit him up with stuff to do.
Plus, we're getting
Good morning, Nicole.
We're getting the homestead ready for winter.
Winterizing. We've been winterizing, taking care of all of the waterers and putting tarps up to keep all of the chickens nice and draft free.
Tractor
and
ready.
Oh, the tractor. Is it running yet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, tractor's running. So
I think tomorrow I'm going to be putting the new lights on it that I got for her, that I was given. Our oldest
got
boy,
her new headlights?
Two new lights that our oldest boy gave us.
Mama hasn't even gotten new headlights, and the tractor gets new headlights?
Yeah, I know. You want new headlights?
No, I don't want new headlights. Let me check something real quick, because someone has sent us something over on Instagram. And it's a new friend, and I want to make sure she knows where to come, because she said she wanted to chime in this morning. So letting her know that this is where we are. And I'll remind Papa Jim, because I don't have an external mic set up, that we got to
talk loud.
We got to talk loud. We have to project our voices. Now, earlier this morning, while I was getting everything ready, I came out from attempting to curl my hair, because it's another hat day. I thought I was going to get up early enough this morning, have a cup of coffee with Papa Jim, maybe have some breakfast, and take a shower and get everything ready for our broadcast, and, have my hair all done nice and everything. But it's another hat day, because I slept way late this morning. I'm telling you. I got up this morning, stumbled out of the bedroom and across the kitchen. I said, what time is it? And Papa Jim says 9:15. It's like, oh my gosh, 9:15. I didn't get a chance for a shower or anything. But here, I know what the culprit is. And I told Papa Jim, you can't let me do this anymore. Papa Jim brought home brownies and ice cream earlier in the week. And last night we made a dessert. It was the chocolate brownie, ice cream, chocolate syrup. And I'm not supposed to have that stuff, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. But I noticed last night, I was just like crashed. I crashed last night after Papa Jim went to bed. And I even had a hard time getting this scheduled for this morning. And so before I went to bed, so it's like several hours after, I was in a yummy dessert coma. Absolutely, Nicole. But a few hours after we had our yummy dessert, I checked my blood sugar. And even a few hours later, it was 207. So I imagine at its peak, it was probably around 250 or more. And I woke up this morning, pounded some water, tested my sugar again. What did I say? It was 179? 179 yet this morning. So good morning, Rhonda. Welcome. This is her first time getting to actually see us in action. I'm going to apologize in advance. So I am very, in addition to the inner ear thing I've got going on. Good morning, Gwen. Because I've been feeling kind of drunk for the last week or so because of this sinus thing or something going on. Now I've got this high spiked blood sugar that I'm contending with. So no more. What tea are we having today? Rochelle wants to know. Before we get to the tea, I want to share something with you. Rochelle was not here for tea yesterday, and neither was Rhonda, but Nicole was. And Nicole, do you remember? I'm not going to say anything because I want Papa Jim to know I'm honest about this. Nicole, do you remember what I said our tea smelled like yesterday, what it reminded me of? Can you pop that into the chat? We were woken this morning by a neighbor knocking on our bedroom window at 7:30. Not happy. I wouldn't be happy either.
Why would they knock?
Okay, so Papa Jim, what does Nicole say?
Tabasco?
Tobacco. It smelled, not Tabasco, tobacco. And so he, without me saying anything this morning, he gets his pipe out and he starts smoking. It's like, what a weird coinky dink. He hasn't smoked it in several weeks. And I said, that's so weird because yesterday's tea kind of reminded me of a pipe tobacco. And here he is smoking his pipe this morning. So he put it away before we started. I said, no, bring it, because it kind of ties into everything that we did yesterday. And I wanted someone to put it in there so he'd know I wasn't fibbing. So yeah, yesterday, but I started to choke a little bit.
Right.
Yesterday's tea, it died off. Yesterday's tea had that smell, and Papa Jim will know what I'm talking about. When you go into a tobacco store to buy your pipe tobacco, you get that sweet tobacco smell, even though it just permeates in the store.
Right.
That's what that tea smelled like yesterday to me. It kind of had that sweet pipe tobacco smell.
It's not the burnt tobacco, it's the tobacco leaf smell.
Right.
Kind of like coffee and then tasting coffee.
Right. I do like the smell of a pipe, Rochelle, because I was sharing yesterday, and unfortunately Rochelle had to work yesterday. I used to have a teacher when I was in elementary school, and he would smoke his pipe during math class, and we just loved it. We all adored that teacher.
Those were the good old days when the teachers could smoke in class.
Yeah, those were the good old days. Yeah, not an ashtray smell. And Rhonda says it reminds her of her grandpa. Yeah, that's the smell. So I'll have to have him smell that tea that we had yesterday and see if that kind of reminds him of it. But the last couple of days, we've kind of been doing a mail call and a gift call, and I owe someone a mail call, and she's here today. So before we move on to what tea we're having, I want to give a huge shout out to our friend Denise, and she's here as Green Granny. And she stopped by earlier in the year, and she brought me a birthday present. And I brought it out in case we need it for our tea today, because yesterday we needed something for our tea because I found out I am not a huge Earl Grey fan. So I added some accoutrements to it yesterday. And so if we need that for today, because we have no idea what tea we're pulling out of our advent calendar today, I brought her gift that she brought me for my birthday. And it is Skinny Syrups, 0 calories, 0 sugar, cinnamon, vanilla syrup. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I'm going to enjoy adding this. I haven't opened it yet because I had other syrups that were already open, so I'm kind of saving it. But thank you, Denise, for thinking of me on my birthday. She also, last year, she brought me some amaryllis bulbs, and I have the amaryllis bulbs up in the window. I haven't gotten any blooms yet, but they're not dead either, so I've been doing that. So thank you so much, Denise. I really, I've been waiting to use it. But like I said, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 2 more on the shelf. I think I have 7 syrups that are already open that we make our flavored coffees with.
What kind of plant is that?
That's an amaryllis.
Amarillo. I've heard that. Do they have a song about that?
I don't know. Do they have a song about an amaryllis?
Amaryllis by morning. Out from
San Antone. Woo, he's funny. Oh, yes. Put it in my coffee. Thank you. My birthday was several months ago, but I'm just now getting to it because we were so caught up in our trip that we took that I just didn't do any mail calls. So I owed Denise a mail call. So even though it didn't come in the mail, she hand delivered it. She brought it by, and she brought by the amaryllis bulbs because I was sharing last year that my mother had given me an amaryllis bulb and I didn't appreciate it. And now my mom's gone and I don't have that bulb anymore. I didn't care for it. So Denise brought over 2 bulbs and they've been in the window ever since she brought them over, and they've grown. I've got leaves, but no blooms yet. Not the same amaryllis and Amarillo, Gwen says. He's such a goof. And everybody's like, I don't think there's a song. He will take any song and switch it around, most of which are not appropriate for our channel. So behave yourself. Look at him puffing on that pipe. Oh, goodness. All right. So we've got that out of the way.
So you have George Strait. Is that what they said? I'm Jim Crooked.
He's Jim Crooked, he says.
Papa Jim Crooked. Let's
move on to our tea of the day. Okay. So I've already sung all the praises of this man right here for picking up on what I put down. I don't intentionally drop hints. I do not intentionally drop hints, but there are times I'll tell him there's things I want, or he'll listen and he'll pick up on stuff. You know what he did the other day? It's been a couple months now, but we were up at Hobby Lobby and I was looking for a little pair of scissors, and I told him, I said, sometimes it's really difficult for me to find the right pair of scissors because I'm left-handed. And I've had to train myself to use right-handed scissors. And you know what showed up in the mail? Left-handed scissors. And you know what? I can't get my left hand to work right, even with left-handed scissors. I'm all totally right. They'll bloom around Easter, she says. Sweeney's, good morning. It's 3 a.m. here, but we're up chasing bloody rabbits out of the veggie patch. Oh my goodness. Yes, King George Strait. All right. So we have our 24 days of tea. I don't want to block Papa Jim, but this is what came in the mail the other day that Papa Jim blessed me with. I was so excited to see it. So we've got together now for day 1 and day 2, and now today is day 3. We're going to open this up. We're going to let Papa Jim pull it out, the tea. And I know where he's going to go with that as soon as he sits down. I'm going to let him grab box number 3, and we will see what our tea is for today.
Did you get this warmed up?
I don't have it warmed up yet. We warm it up while we talk about what we're doing. Right. So here's our advent calendar, 24 days of tea. And everybody go, oh, look at how beautiful that is. Look at all of those pretty little boxes full of tins of tea. Each one is different. I have not peeked. I don't know what they are. So Papa Jim, I'm going to turn this around with the camera still down.
What's today?
And not block it. And see if you can find box number 3 and go ahead and remove it.
Right here, 3.
There it is. Box number 3. All right. I'm going to close our calendar up. But I'm not going to put this away yet because we have to read what it is. So go ahead and
I want everybody to see it's really number 3.
Yeah, it's box number 3. There it is. So Papa Jim, go ahead and do the honors. I'm going to get my glasses ready because I know I'm going to need them. And someday maybe I'll get the Christmas tree set up behind us and we'll put a little hole punch in each of our little boxes and hang up our little boxes on a tree.
Oh, you don't want this one.
I don't want this one? Mm-mm. What is it called?
Apple cider.
Apple cider. Ooh, I'm going to love this one today. Apple cider. So what we do now is we've got our box has every tea listed on the back. I'm going to find apple cider and we're going to read what he's just moving ahead and doing his own thing. Let's find it and read what the ingredients are. And they're not in order, so they're hard for me to find. Here it is, apple cider. You guys ready? These are the ingredients for our apple cider tea today. Obviously, apple pomace, however you want to say it, apple pomace, citric acid, sweet blackberry leaves, apple flavoring. It says artificial apple flavoring. I hope it's not any beaver, but that's raspberry. If you guys know what I'm talking about, look up natural raspberry flavoring. You'll have your mind blown. Let's see here. Concentrated apple juice, artificial vanilla cream, and flavoring. So obviously this one is not organic or kosher. It's got some artificial stuff in there. So this one, it's a product of Germany, and we're going to heat our water to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to steep for 5 minutes. So I'm going to put my box aside here.
So this must be a darker tea then.
It's a darker tea. So we've got our kettle. We've got our cup. We have our infuser at the ready, and we have our kettle. Now, I told you guys I would be putting, let me take these out because they make me dizzy when I'm not reading. Let's see. Natural raspberry flavor comes from ripe raspberries. Not always. Artificial raspberry flavor is manufactured, but it's not artificial. That's the thing, Rochelle. Manufactured from castoreum, which is harvested from the castor glands of beavers. Yes. So beaver butts, the anal glands of beavers. But when you read your ingredients, because it's a natural flavoring because it comes from the beaver. It's natural. They don't have to put that it's artificial flavoring. There are ingredients on some things that say natural raspberry flavoring, and you don't know, is it really raspberries or is it beaver butt?
So when you go
it's ruined Smirnoff for me.
When you go up to the machines at the quick stops and stuff, and then you go up there to hit the machine and you see, oh, look at
raspberry tea
with natural flavorings. You can just imagine going,
It's a play on words, Rochelle. I mean, it's artificial raspberry, yes, but it's a natural flavoring, yes. So they get away with putting that it's natural raspberry
And I don't
flavoring.
know how they do it though, but they can use that same beaver butt. I call it beaver butt for other flavors too. And
Vanilla.
I don't know how they do that.
I don't know. Vanilla. I just want to know who's the first person that looked at an anal gland for a beaver and said, I wonder what that tastes like. But they also use it in perfumes. They use it for a lot of different things. Yeah, it hasn't killed us yet, but I remember after I learned that I was sitting in under our palapa. We had this Tahitian palapa that we built at this place that we were living in California, and I had an iced Smirnoff, and it was raspberry, and I got about 3 swigs into it. It's like, yeah, I just can't do this anymore. I just don't know where it's come from yet, so I don't know. Oh, did Nisi pop in? Yay, there she is. Hello, Nisi. Okay, so I did put the link to the new tea kettle in day 1 and day 2. So if you guys are interested in picking up one of these tea kettles, and I also put the link for the infuser. And I said before, it's an Amazon link. I make like 20 cents. It doesn't cost you anymore. So if you guys want to pick up any of this stuff, I also put a link for not the 24 days of tea, but a really nice David's Tea gift set where you open the box just like I just showed you, and it's got a bunch of little selected teas in there. It's just not an advent calendar.
Right.
So with our teapot here, tea kettle, we're going to go ahead. We're going to hit 200 degrees on our little push tab here.
Is it plugged in?
It's plugged in. We're going to hit 200 and we're going to push start, and that's going to heat our tea up, our water, to the proper temperature. And then I get to smell. I want to smell our tea today. Rattle, rattle, he says. Okay, so I'm going to hold it up to the camera so you guys can see how pretty that is. Remember, this is a new laptop for me. Look at the pieces of apple and everything in there. Yeah.
And this is a new experience for me, is when I thought of different loose leaf teas, I thought of like tobacco leaves.
Well, the one yesterday, the Earl Grey one yesterday, looked a lot like tobacco leaves. It really, really did.
But all these ones I'm starting to see, do I do it too tight?
Well, it doesn't twist on. It kind of pops off, and I'm always trying to be careful.
Yeah, twist on here.
Oh, here, I'm going to let him do it. Maybe that's why I've been struggling the last 2 days, is it twists off. It doesn't pop off. There we go. Okay. Somewhere I've got my little spoon here. Reach over here. And so this is 2 servings.
Oh, is it?
So yeah, we get 2 different times we get to try this. So I'm going to bring the camera down again. And I'm not going to put it in my teacup. We're going to put it in our infuser.
Does it just open up?
Yep, just like that. And we're going to take about half. Oh, you know what I was going to do? Well, no, I'm just going to do it here because that's been proven to be fatal every time I do it. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to put it in our infuser.
So you take about half of it out?
Yeah, I'm taking about half.
Now, will half of that do a whole one of these?
Yeah. See if we can get some of these little spices and things in here. A little bit more.
I don't know. I just think it's amazing of how you got the different pieces mixed in there and stuff.
We'll put our lid back on. And thank you, Papa Jim, for pointing out that I was not smart enough to realize that it twists on. I've been popping it off every day and spilling tea because I am a dork.
Righty tighty, lefty
Loosey. So it's tight now. It's going on there.
Is it easier that way?
It's so much easier that way. So we've got our tea here in our infuser. We're going to wait for our water to heat up. Oh, Rochelle says she loves the fig tea. Yum.
Ooh,
Isn't it pretty? Isn't this pretty? What I was doing, you can't see it there. You'll see it when it does its tea dance. What I was doing is I was taking the tea out. Papa Jim doesn't know that. I was taking the tea out and I was putting it in a little ramekin or a little dish. And then I was trying to hold it up to the camera to show you guys. And then I poured it all over my keyboard. It was like party foul all over the place. So you can hear that. I don't know if you hear. Water's heating up in our tea kettle. I love this tea kettle that Papa Jim picked up for me because it's on a base. I can pick it up off the base. We can take it anywhere we want and then have the hot water for our tea. But we've been having our tea right here every day in the kitchen. I have. Well, when I say we, I say we.
Oh, we as we.
We here. Did you guys grab something to eat or something hot to drink today? Hello, Ever Humphrey. How are you doing? I encouraged you guys yesterday when we get together for this, grab something nice and warm and cozy. to drink some hot cocoa, some tea, some coffee. I think yesterday Nicole wanted some wine. Knock yourself out. And so we're going to let that warm up. While we're waiting for that to warm up, because my battery is low on my iPad, let's talk about our Advent calendar for today. Because every day we've been doing a little something for an Advent calendar as well. And it's a calendar of kindness. So before I lose my deal here, let's see what our Advent is. And Papa Jim hasn't seen this either. So I'm going to move this aside. And here's our little Advent calendar of kindness. And this is from a school. Look at this little elementary school. They do all of these little drawings, try to get it without a glare. They do all these little drawings, and then they have an Advent calendar. And every day you push on the corresponding number, and then it tells you what random act of kindness you should do. So I'm going to let Papa Jim hit number 3. And I will grab my glasses, and let's see what number 3 is for today. Isn't today the 3rd?
Yeah. What is it? Day 2. So maybe I said day 3.
Well, why aren't they giving me day 3? It's not giving it to me. Maybe I need to refresh.
Maybe we're not supposed to be kind today. I'm joking.
Here, now do it. I had to refresh. That's what it was.
There it goes.
There it goes. Today on day 3, and this is going to be easy for us to do today because we're going to talk about what we're doing today. Today's random act of kindness is give someone a smile. And here is the artwork today. This is from one of the students at the school. Look at that little penguin. Look how cute that little penguin is. Isn't that sweet? Every day it has little drawings from the students in their classes. This is from 2 classrooms in an elementary school. So it says, have you ever walked down the street and passed someone who gave you a nice warm smile? It's such an easy thing to do, and it's free. For today's act of kindness, give a smile to a random person. Our tea water's done. Find some time to go outside for a walk or go someplace with lots of people. When you're walking, smile at someone because it makes other people feel better and warms their heart. Doing this act of kindness is a very important and nice thing to do, and it doesn't take much time. So that is our random act of, we've got another piece of artwork from one of the students. And it shows, I'm telling you, this glare, I wish I didn't have to contend with the glare. But it shares, 2 people walking outside, and one walks up and says, hi. The other one says hello, and he's got a big, big smile on his face. And there's a snowman precariously placed next to a fire. I'd be worried about the snowman so close to the fire. So that's our random act of kindness today, is give someone a random smile. Now, if you're not going out today, hi. He smiles at me. If you're not going out today.
We are going out today.
We are. But if you're not, you could do it tomorrow. You could do it the next day. Put it in your pocket. Save it for another time. Just other random acts of kindness. And brighten someone's day and give them a smile. All right, let's move on to our tea. I'm going to bring the infuser back down, and I'm going to bring the camera down because this is where we get to see the beautiful tea dance. Now, there's not many tea leaves in here. It's mostly the fruit pieces and everything, so I don't know how much of a tea dance we're going to get. But in the last couple of days, when we pour the water in, you can just see everything dance. It's so pretty. Do I
have to open anything?
You don't have to open anything, and we're going to pour to about this line right here. So here we go. Look at how pretty. That should be good. Oh, can you see everything dancing around? How pretty everything is. Oh, it smells so good. And we're going to close the lid on this, and we're going to let this steep for 5 minutes. Day 1, Rochelle was our official timekeeper. Hello, Food by Faith. Popped in and hit the like button and say hello. Well, thank you. I hope you get to stick around. So 5 minutes. Rochelle, are you going to be our timer, or do you want me to grab my phone? Oh, goodness. That's okay, Gwen. I'm glad you got your pumpkin going there. Okay. Let me grab my phone and let me set the timer. to 5 minutes. Hey, Scott, how
Here,
are you
I can set
doing?
mine.
Oh, Papa Jim said, shoot,
What happened?
I messed with stuff.
See, don't touch
Don't
things.
touch anything. It took us off this screen, and I thought, we're still going. Okay. Papa Jim's going to set the timer for 5 minutes. We're going to let this steep for 5 minutes. Rochelle is going to set it for 5 minutes as well, because I love when she helps me out with this. Papa Jim wasn't here, but so for you guys know, our first day we had Merry Mistletoe, and I was like, I don't know why there'd be mistletoe and tea. And Rochelle did all kinds of research and everything, told us about the health qualities and benefits of mistletoe. And it was really, really nice. She was such a help. I really, really
Mistletoe,
appreciate her.
But not the berries.
Not the berries. See,
No.
he even knows not the berries.
Not the berries. 'Cause I know that from when I was a wee young lad. Don't eat the berries.
Don't eat the berries, but you can
Yes.
kiss under the mistletoe.
That's
We've
that
done
get-
that a time
that
or
gets you
two.
in trouble too.
Anyways, so, while we're waiting for this to steep, usually I read a story out of my blog.
I don't think we get no story read today.
Not getting a story read today, not with him here, but still not a mod though. Oh, you know what? I'll fix that for you. I'll fix that for you, Rochelle. I don't want to touch my computer at the moment, but I'll make you a mod, love. I'm sorry. Yeah, you put on your Jessie hat. I was wondering why you said you put on your Jessie hat. I was like, what? So Scott says, good day, Papa Jim.
Good
Scott
day.
from Rambling with the Brooms up in Canada. We've got a couple of our Canada friends here today. I will make you a mod. I'm sorry. I just don't want to touch anything because I'm afraid I'll accidentally end the broadcast. So, as you know, I've been talking about this trip. Oh, by the way, guys, cheeseburger soup, meal in a jar, that posted late last night. So if you guys want to see how we put this together, we're going to be doing another video. You watched it? What'd you think?
Mhm.
So, okay, impromptu. So if you want to watch it, go watch it. It'll tell you how to make this cheeseburger soup meal in a jar. When we made the soup the other day, what did you think of it?
It was good. I mean, it was enough that I wanted it for leftovers for lunch the next day.
Yeah. And we had
Um,
enough for 4 meals.
Yeah. The only thing that I just want to advise people on is that, especially when you use the dehydrated or the freeze dried, the salt might be just a. I don't say it's over salty, but you just be careful. Don't salt thinking you need to add salt without tasting it.
Yeah. And that was something I tell you in the video is don't
Yeah.
add your salt until you've actually reconstituted everything and you taste it, and then you can see where your salt levels are.
Right. But I mean, you can use that as a kind of a base, and then you can add whatever you want to it after the fact. There's so many toppings you can put on it. So
Rhonda wants to know, what is a mod? Rhonda, a mod is a friend in the world of YouTube that I can give special permissions to on my channel. So when I go live like this, if somebody pops up in the live and they're not behaving themselves, they can boot them out. Because when I'm speaking, I will miss things that are in the chat, and the mods can pick up on it. They can drop links for other people. So for instance, I'm not sure if I even have any mods in here today. It's been so long since we've gone live. But as people are chatting, they can take their links and put them in the chat so other people can go follow them too. So you have a large stick, Scott? Yeah, Scott whacks people all the time. Scott, I thought you were a mod, but I don't see a blue wrench next to you. I wonder if I need to redo
because
things.
I am a mod.
Okay, then why don't I see? You know why I don't see? Because I'm watching in StreamYard. I'm not watching on YouTube. If I were watching on YouTube, I would see Scott's blue wrench, because Scott has indeed been smurfed and he carries a big stiff.
A stiff?
Stick. Scott. I'm sorry.
I don't know what to say.
Apologies to your wife, Scott. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Stick. You're the one who wrote it. I just mispronounced it. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. What's going on, Rochelle? Stiff sticks. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm done embarrassed myself, and that doesn't happen very
Well,
often.
The only thing I can say about that is if you're going to carry a stick,
It should be.
it should be stiff. Honestly, you don't want a limp stick. Anyway, your thing's getting ready to go off here pretty soon.
That's what she said. How much more time do we have?
7 seconds.
7 seconds. That reminds me of the time when I typed in a question. This will be good for people who don't know this. There goes our timer. When I was on Daz from his Aussie Kitchen, when I was on Daz's live and he was talking about stuff, I asked him, he was talking about fantails. Fantails are a candy down in Australia. And okay, I'll tell it after I pour the cup because we're gonna let this cool. So let's go ahead and we're gonna pour our cup. We're gonna bring this down. Now I don't know why, but every time I look at our tea in our infuser, I think, oh, that's not going to be very dark. And being that this is a cider, it's probably not going to be very dark. But when I put it in the cup, it always looks a little darker. So it almost plays a little trick on you. So I'm going to move our cup in place here. Let's make it where we can get a little bit of color too. And I'm going to set this on here and let's go ahead and get our cider into our cup. And yeah, it's not going to be very dark today because I don't think there's a lot of tea so much as there is all of these beautiful blackberry leaves, apple. Oh, I can smell it. Can you smell it?
Mm-mm.
It's taking its time today, isn't it, guys? This is taking forever to pour today. I must not be holding it right. There it goes. That's a little faster.
Did I read somewhere that you can take and do 2 batches out of one?
Yes. On some of these teas, if I put more hot water into this, which we'll probably just go ahead and add it now and see if we can get 2 cups out of this. There we go. And look at how much, I don't know if you can see, look at how much the apples
Swell up.
puffed up because they were dehydrated before. Okay, so there's our cider.
So I'm going to pour this some more.
Hello, Marlene. Today we have cider. We have apple cider. And as we suspected, and Papa Jim's going to add some water to our infuser and see if we can get a little bit more because sometimes you can get 2 cups out of them. But here is our cider.
Let me smell it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that smells good. Oh, Rochelle says for some reason she needs to be. And she says, I don't want a floppy disk either. Okay, so let me tell you about what happened over at Daz's. We're going to let this cool a little bit because we don't want to sip it when it's too hot. But I was over on Daz's live at my Aussie kitchen and garden. And Rhonda's going to run. Oh, she's getting a treat today. Oh, good. Yes, share a smile, Rhonda. I'm so glad you were able to stop in for a little while. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the thumb on the way out. You might want to stick around for this story, though, if I can ever get it out. Anyways, Daz was talking one day about this candy in Australia, and the candy is called Fantails. Well, Daz has a fabulous Australian accent, and he doesn't just say Fantails. He's got, Fantails. He says it so fancy because it's got this accent. And so while I'm listening to his live and I'm working outside, I stopped and I typed in real quick, how do those fantails sound again? Because I wanted him to say it because I just, it's one of those things. It's like listening to somebody say, throw another shrimp on the barbie. So I wanted to hear him say fantails. Well, what I didn't notice until way too late was my phone auto-corrected fantails because it doesn't know what fantails are. It corrected it to fantasies. So I actually typed in his live, hey, Daz, how do those fantasies sound again? And he's reading through his comments and he got to that comment and he's like, oh dear. And you could see him blush up. He goes, I don't quite know how to reply to that. And I realized what's happened. And I'm on my phone going, fantails, fantails. And I had to tell him, Daz, please apologize to your wife for me. I did not mean to say fantasies. I don't want to hear about your fantasies on the fantails. And so now that's my nickname. I don't know if Papa Jim knows that, but Daz calls me Fantails. That's my nickname now. Oh, just an FYI, says Marlene. With the fruit infusions, I steep them longer to get more flavor. I think I was probably talking for about a minute before Jim set the timer. Mm-hmm. And then the timer went off, and I think we probably went another 30 seconds. So I think we might have maybe 6.5 minutes on this, Marlene. I don't know if that's long enough. I know, dang, autocorrect. Autocorrect is my worst enemy. All right, so she says we should probably let these go a little bit longer. Did you set the timer for the second cup? We're just going to let that second cup just steep.
I was going to wait until it turned color.
And we might not get a second cup out of the fruit infusion one. So thank you, Marlene. That is a wonderful, wonderful tip. But it smells good either way.
Yeah. Let's see. Is it hot?
Oh, that's nice. But I agree with Marlene. It probably could have sat a little bit longer. It's not strong, but it does have a nice, here, try that. It does have a nice little flavor, an apple-y flavor. You taste the apple? Mm-hmm. But it could have gone a little longer, huh?
That's a little weak. Not much. I mean,
it does. It is to the point to where if it was a nice chilly day and you just want to sit there and wrap your hands around this cup. I have my sweet potato pie tea today. It is my favorite. I heard you talking about that in your live when you decorated your bedroom the other day for Christmas. Sweet
potato pie tea?
And I don't know if that's in our advent calendar because I've not peeked. I've not peeked at the back, Marlene. I have no idea what it says on the back. So I have no idea what teas we have coming. So, but I think with the fruit infusion, now let me know what you think about this, Marlene. What if I take a little bit of that Earl Grey that I have left over and put it with a little bit of the apple cider I have left over? Would it be a little bit stronger tea, or do I just leave it as a fruit infusion? Blame the time person. No blame nowhere. There's no blame in this game at all.
I timed it.
Well, she timed it too, and she said pour.
What?
She timed it as well. Rochelle had her timer going too.
I don't know.
There's enough love for all timers in this group. Don't worry about it.
I think she's telling me I'm a poor timer. Just kidding.
You know what? Kidding. Try it again. It's cooled down a little bit. Right. Even though it's not infusing anymore, try that. I don't know what it is about the teas. It gets to a certain temperature and it just kind of changes the flavor. And you can feel that heat go all the way down into your chest. It's really nice. But it's not a strong cider. It's not like actually drinking a warm cider or mulled cider. It is a much lighter infused flavor. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, I think as it cools down, the heat, initial hit of the hot temperature allows you to have a little bit more of the flavor pulled out of it.
Yeah. So while we're enjoying our tea and catching up, I think you could mix it, but steep it per the tea instructions so it doesn't go bitter. Yes, and that's something that we've learned too. Is I didn't know. Marlene, our first day when we did day one. I shared I was of the improper schooling of, just throw the water in the microwave, dunk your tea bag a few times, then wrap the string around a spoon and squeeze the life out of it. And that's probably why I never enjoyed tea before, because I wasn't doing it properly. And also in day one, I gave you, Marlene, all the credit for introducing me to this lovely advent calendar. And I read the card that you sent me. And if it weren't for you, I never would have learned of this. I had no idea they had tea advent calendars. And it just sparked an interest in me. And then when this showed up in the mail, because Papa Jim bought it for me, I started researching about the proper way to brew a tea. Mm-hmm. And I was doing it all wrong. And, Papa Jim got me this adorable little tea infuser, this little bunny rabbit. So cute. We'll pop him in here. I mean, how cute is that, right? That little bunny just sitting in your tea. But it didn't infuse well because the tea leaves were not allowed to move and dance and unfurl. It just didn't have enough room. So I didn't use my little tea bunny anymore because I got this instead. And I know that Marlene has one. I had seen her use it before, and I thought I probably needed one, but I didn't realize how badly I did need one until I tried steeping some teas with my little bunny, which I still love. He's adorable. I love having him in here. But
I mean, I think there's a novelty part of like teas and stuff. And then there's actually learning how you steep tea and the temperatures and how long and
right. And we're learning. Yeah. We're learning. So yeah, there's the novelty side of it. And then there's the, hey, let's really make a respectable cup of tea side of it. So I'm learning because I've been doing it wrong all these years.
Just like this teapot that has the actual temperatures on it. I mean, how many times have you ever thrown in the microwave or just take the teapot on the top of the stove and let it
boil to oblivion?
Right. And you just don't know. And then I always thought that I was going to get as much as I could out. So I smashed the tea trying to get it to get out of the house.
I mean, how many of you have pulled out your tea bag and actually squeezed it so you get all of that tea into your cup? And I didn't realize it released all those tannins, which are bitter, and they're bitter on your tongue, and it just ruins your cup of tea. I think the buddy's adorable. Marlene says, I did watch day one after you did it. Thank you so much. And good job, Papa Jim. I did it just like you back in the day, right? I think all of us were just not taught properly how to make tea. I wonder if your tea bunny would be good for a fruit infusion. I was thinking that as well as I popped them in here because the tea leaves don't necessarily need to unfurl and dance. It could sit in your cup while you drink it. It isn't going to over infuse.
Is that because it's cooling down? So it won't over infuse?
Well, because there's not a lot of tea, you don't want to over infuse your tea leaves. But since it's a fruit infusion, it's not going to over infuse.
Oh, this one here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we could have possibly,
I'm
going to try that in the future, Marlene. I'm going to try it with the fruit infusions. We'll try the bunny again.
Right.
Because I had tried the bunny with some other teas that I got, not David's, but like Crimson Berry and another one. And
That's just really good idea.
It didn't do anything, but that is an excellent idea. Thank you. I always squeeze. I guess I like the bitter, says Nicole. Yeah. I always squeezed, and I think it's why I didn't truly enjoy my tea. I mean, I noticed the bitter, but I just thought that was the way tea was. But I would have tea if I wasn't feeling well. That's the only time I would have tea. If I wasn't feeling well, I'd have tea, but I'd always squeeze the bejesus out of it.
The only tea that I would ever really have would be iced tea.
And I do it with the iced tea too.
But I'm wondering with why I like the sun tea more than the brewed teas is because the sun tea, you leave the bags in there so you're not smushing it.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it doesn't overcook that way, it just, I don't know.
Now see, his sister makes a sweet tea and she throws those tea bags into the boiling water, boils it to oblivion.
No,
and
no, I don't think so. Does she? I thought she brought it to a boil, turned it off, and then put the things in it and let it cool down with the bag.
Yeah, but they're in there for forever, so it's going to release the tannins.
It'll slap you.
Just like that.
Yeah. And then she puts enough sugar in it to cover it all up. So you get a slap and a kiss.
Ooh, you're talking my language. It will be great to see if it works because the bunny is just so cute. I love this bunny. I think it would be wonderful. I wish you could see a top down of the bunny. It's so stinking cute the way he's relaxed. If I do this, if I set him right here and I bring that down, look how adorable that little bunny is. So for the fruit infusions, I might really enjoy this little bunny. I would not even use this infuser. I would put the tea blend, the fruit blend in the bunny
and then
fill the cup with the hot water that's been brewed to the proper temperature and then leave him in here.
Yeah.
Because he's going to continue to release the flavors. I was tempted to add a little bit to him just now and do that, but this isn't at the proper temperature anymore. So I will do that next time, Marlene.
Scoop some of this out and put it in there.
But I don't know if there's anything really left in it now.
Let me see.
See how we're learning? We're learning and sharing. I love the bunny too. It's so cute. And it's not the tea. Slap and a kiss. She says she wondered how things were heating up in here, and she's not talking about the tea. You never know what's going to happen here on a Saturday morning.
What happens on the homestead stays on the homestead.
Homestead. I love this little bunny. And Papa Jim got me some other infusers as well. They're little metal ones, and they have their own little little plate that they sit on. And I got those. So I thought I'm just going to introduce you guys to a new little infuser every day and have fun with it. But then when I tried the bunny and it wasn't working, it's like, oh, so I got my other infuser. But I love the little bunny. I think we'll try the little bunny. There's a nut. Now, if the bunny works with the infused fruits, I will use my bunny, and then I will ask Papa Jim to get me the other one I want. There's another one I want.
There's a couple of them.
There's a couple of them that I want.
Don't ever think there's only one that she wants.
So what are the other ones I want?
You want the
See if he's been paying attention.
oh, it's not a hippo, it's
It's close.
A
It's
manatee?
Close. A manatee
right. I like the dinosaur.
and the dinosaur. There's a brontosaurus. You put the tea leaves in the brontosaurus and his little neck comes up out of the cup. So cute.
So did I get the two?
Or
is there
that's
more?
two of them.
Oh.
And then there's the duck.
Oh, the duck.
I showed you the duck. The duck is adorable. The duck, it's the silicone like the bunny on the top, but it has the metal infuser on the bottom. And so the duck floats on the top, and it's just his butt sticking up out of your tea with his little feet. Yes, the Nessie one. Yes, Rochelle.
Yes.
Yes. So for the fruit infusions, I might use those. This happens every day. Every day I've done the tea 3 times in a row now, huh, guys? Is when I start sipping the tea, then anything that's in my chest, it warms it.
Oh,
It loosens it, and I'm able, because I'm an asthmatic, so I've always got something going on.
I don't think this is gonna.
I don't think we're going to get much more out of the second batch of the infusion. But I mean, it's got some color.
Yeah, I don't know.
But remember, the color's always a little off in this infuser. It might have something. And the thing is, too, is I guess we could always, if we wanted to try to get a second round out of it, we could always throw some cloves in there or something, or a cinnamon stick, and utilize the hot water. The Nessie one. I love the Nessie one.
Yeah.
Well, watch.
I wonder. What? Yeah. I wonder if some of the recipe would be in there.
Some of the recipe. Okay, so I've been dropping hints to you guys for things that we're going to be doing. Papa Jim just looked at this infuser and says, I wonder if there's any of the recipe in there. Who can tell me what he's referring to when he says he wants to know if there's a little bit of the recipe in our infuser? Does anybody know what he's talking about? Oh, Marlene, it's been great. I'm sorry that you have to get back to work, because I do love it when you get to visit with me. I miss you. Your room looked beautiful the other day. And have a lovely day at work. And cheers to you, my friend. Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate it. And this is all because of you. So thank you. Thank you. Hey, look at there. FR Humphrey says the Waltons. Yes, we have watched all of the episodes of Little House on the Prairie. We got those done right about in time for us to go on our trip to Mansfield, Missouri, to visit Laura Ingalls' home there in Mansfield, Missouri. And then we watched all of Anne with an E for Anne of Green Gables, which I'm also reading and putting installments of each chapter up on my channel. But then it's like, what do we watch now? Because we watched all of Anne with an E. We watched all of Little House on the Prairie. So we started watching The Waltons. And just in the last episode or two, we've been introduced. Now, this is part of my childhood. Papa Jim's remembers it a little bit as part of his childhood. But I don't know that we've ever watched it from beginning to end, watched it all the way through. So we're watching The Waltons.
Yeah, for us, or for my house, it wasn't something like you went every week to watch it. You know, it wasn't like that. For us, it was like, if you turn the TV on and you happen to catch it, then you might watch it, but it wasn't.
Yeah. So we're watching The Waltons. We're learning about all of the family dynamics of the Waltons. And I'm really enjoying it more than I ever did in earlier parts of my life. I'm appreciating, but I did now. So because there's so many things, I don't want you guys to think things are staged or anything. I hate watching shows where you can obviously tell that couples are staging things, like those recipe ones. Gosh, those people drive me insane. The ones with the recipe ones, and they drag it out forever and put all this fake stuff in there, and it's like clickbait. But I warned Papa Jim. We started the first episode, and I paused it. I said, I've got to warn you. about something. And what did I warn you as we started watching the Waltons? Do you remember?
Oh yeah,
Okay, what did I warn you?
that you when John Boy does his, what do you call it, at the end, epilogue, or when he tells at the end of the show, you cry every time.
I cry every time. And do I?
Yeah.
I can't help it. Every time John Boy wraps up the show at the end of the show and he does his little epilogue and he reflects back on that story, I'm getting weepy now. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's not so much because it's John Boy. It's not so much because of the story. I think it's because it takes me back to my childhood and watching the Waltons with my mom.
Yeah.
And I miss my mom. So I think when he reflects back on his childhood, it pulls at my heart because there are things in my childhood I miss.
I'm sure that's that way with a lot of people. I'm sure that's
Do you guys
probably why
cry?
he puts it. I'm sure that's probably why they put it at the end, is to get people to reflect back or think about.
They know
Yeah.
it's going to pull on your heartstrings,
Yeah.
and it does mine. Don't cry. You're going to make me cry. I'm sorry. Watch them weekly and the Christmas special. Good night, John Boy.
Yeah.
The lady that leaves the eggshells. Oh my God. I see. I don't remember that one. I'll have to watch.
But we might not be there, right? I mean, for me, we're not there yet because we're
Yeah.
only.
I think we're only 5 episodes in.
Yeah.
Watching it
first
from beginning to end on the
Yeah.
first season.
Okay, so what I'm wondering is so we watched all the Little House on the Prairie, and then we went. I've taken you to the.
We've gone 2 spots for Little House on the
Minnesota
Prairie, Minnesota and Missouri.
And Missouri, and then we haven't been to the South Dakota one yet.
No.
And then the Anne of Green Gables, that's up in Canada somewhere.
Rochelle.
I got a feeling that we're going to be taking a trip up that
To
way.
Prince Edward Island. I want to go. I have to get we have to get our passports
redone. And then the Waltons, they're out of where? Kentucky? Virginia,
I believe.
Virginia or something.
West Virginia,
Anyway.
Virginia.
So I can see a trend of things starting to.
Method to my madness. Oh, you know what? He doesn't know what he's in for, because I think I shared with you guys that we visited a lot of Civil War battlefields on our trip down into Tennessee and Georgia. And I'm reading Anne of Green Gables. I know that doesn't correlate, but I'm reading Anne of Green Gables, and I'm trying to find some other content to read for my channel. I do them one chapter at a time. And one of the ones I want to do is Little Women. And I know I've seen Little Women before. I know I've read parts of Little Women. It gets better when it cools, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And so I started watching Little Women yesterday. I only got partway through and I stopped. It's like, okay, Jim's got to watch Little Women with me now, because it's set during Civil War. I didn't know. I mean, I think, you know how you don't realize how many white trucks there are out on the road until you buy a white truck and then you see all the white trucks, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's this way now because I'm so interested in everything we learned about the Civil War on our trip that now I'm starting to go, oh, I didn't know that was set during the Civil War. I didn't know Little Women was set during the Civil War, and their father's off at war. So poor Papa Jim.
She even got me to watch Gone with the Wind. Oh,
yeah, we watched Gone with the Wind the other day. It wasn't too terribly bad, was it?
It wasn't.
He really fought me tooth and nail on it. Just watch it. Just watch it. Y'all have to make a stop in Norval, Ontario to see her garden. She lived here for several years and wrote several books. L.M. Montgomery, Lucy Maud. So yeah, I really like that I'm at the stage in my life where I'm starting to see things as tangible. I'm old.
Hey, so I want to throw something out there. I don't know how many people's in, but things that you viewed when you were young. I'm not talking about real young, but let's say pre-teens through your teens, still living at home. Things that you watched that you were I want to say forced to watch that you really didn't appreciate, or you really liked it, and then as you got older, like for me, I was a huge Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, life stopped every week when Dukes of Hazzard came on. And then as I have grown and became older, to go back and watch them again, that's the most stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, the only thing cool about it was when the car and doing the jumps and stuff. Other than that, and maybe
say it because we know it's true. We know. I was going to say it. The only reason he watched
it wasn't the only reason.
Dukes of Hazzard was for the car action and Daisy Dukes. That's it. He didn't care about the storylines.
Yes, I did.
It was to see Catherine Bach.
I mean,
I
used to
Dukes.
before VCRs and all that stuff. I had a cassette recorder, and I used to record the show episode, and then I would play it back with all of our friends, and we just play it in the background, listening to the car chases and stuff, and Roscoe
P. Coltrane.
So that kind of stuff. But anyway, now I look back and I said, man, gosh. And then other shows like, I don't know, The Fall Guy. And
Rochelle says Gilligan's Island.
Yes. They can make so many things, but they couldn't make something to get off the island.
Couldn't fix the hole in the ship.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that's funny.
But going back and watching things like Little House on the Prairie, now we watch Little House on the Prairie as parents, as grandparents,
right,
and understanding lean times and understanding hard times and trials and tribulations and the hardships. It's like you understand it more. And I think that's why I'm really appreciating getting back into the Waltons again. I was sharing with Nicole. We were discussing off on a side chat the other day. Three's Company. Okay, Three's Company. I'll still watch Three's Company. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch Three's Company growing up, but I'll watch it now. But yes, silly stuff. Anne of Green Gables. And she and I were talking about Anne of Green Gables, and we both agreed we really love the original Anne of Green Gables with Megan Follows. I really enjoyed that the first couple times I saw it. And so I went and rented it the other day at the library. I borrowed it from the library, and we watched it, and he slept through most of it, and he really wasn't into it. And I remember watching it just this last week, and it's like it didn't hold as much magic for me as it did before, because I had allowed myself to get sucked into Netflix's version of Anne with an E. And I told Papa Jim, I said, give Anne with an E a chance, because he really didn't buy into the whole Anne and Gilbert thing on the other one. He wasn't into it. And I think it's because it's more romantical. There's just something about it. It is that, that PBS, and we love it. I love it. But Anne with an E on Netflix, if you haven't seen it, it shows a darker part of Anne's history. It's a little more surreal. It goes a little bit more in depth into the characters. You learn so much more about Matthew and Marilla. And I grew to love the character, the woman who plays, why can't I think of her name? The nosy neighbor. All of a sudden, I can't think of her name. I know it. I just can't spit it out. It was innocent. I prefer Rochelle. Oh, I promised Rochelle. Yeah, it was innocent. Nicole and Rochelle are going back and forth about who's cheating on who with regards to Anne. Gosh darn it, what's the nosy neighbor's name? Why can't I think of it? I've got too much going on in my brain. Rachel. Her name is Rachel. Rachel Lynde. There we go. I like the lady who plays Rachel Lynde in the Anne with an E. So it's I don't know, it's just a whole new appreciation for things. But we're watching the Waltons, we're enjoying the Waltons, and maybe someday we'll take a trip to Virginia. I believe they live in Virginia and South Carolina, North Carolina. They're on the East Coast there somewhere.
Well, where it was what do I want to say? Predicted, or where it was. I'm sure a lot of it was in a studio. But where it was based on, that's where I want to go. Right,
that's where it was based on. It was based on in the what is it, the Smoky Mountains,
right?
Walton's Mountain. Which did you know that the man who wrote the story, it's actually based on his family? But here's a little bit of trivia for you that I shared with Papa Jim the other day: is the Walton home, their home, was not back east. It was actually below the Hollywood sign in Hollywood. and then it burnt down, and then they rebuilt it, and then it was used as the Firefly in, I think, Dragonfly, Firefly. It was used as the bed and breakfast that they fix up in the Gilmore Girls. Gladys Kravitz from Bewitched. Yes. Oh, good morning, Danny. Sleepy morning. I understand that one. We're a little bit on the sleepy side as well.
She's on the sleepy side. I've been up since 4:30
Why have you been up since 4:30?
because we have an old man dog who's the poor little guy. He is blind, partially deaf, dementia and stuff. And look at the blue jay.
Oh, I wish you guys could see this. Right outside the window on the edge of the deck is a blue jay. His colors are beautiful.
Big.
There's another one. All the blue jays are coming to visit us this morning.
Does the blue jays mean that the winter's over with?
Blue jays do not mean that the winter is over with.
What was I saying? What were you talking about when the blue jay flew up?
Our poor little senior dog
Oh.
that I think his time clock is mixed up. He sleeps all day and then he keeps Papa Jim up all
Yeah,
night.
and so with her doing her sugar coma and stuff like that, I had to get up like 4 times in the middle of the night and then turn around, and I just got up at 4:30.
Yeah, I remember waking him up in the middle of the night and said, "Can you please take him down off the bed and take him potty?" Because I was so dizzy from the sugar spike. I was afraid to, if I bent over to pick up the dog, I was just gonna, topple over.
Yeah, so he's our poor little guy. So
Yeah, but we love him.
Yeah.
We're gonna give him the best life we can for as
Yeah,
long
for
as we can. He's 15 plus,
yeah, but
and I just love him.
yeah, so my
He
poor little guy.
piddles and has accidents and walks
Yeah.
in circles. He's got dementia. He's
Yeah.
blind. He can still hear. And boy, does his sniffer work.
I'll tell you what, he can. His sniffer goes.
If you have the tiniest little morsel of food, he's like, whoa.
I mean, across the room, he can pick it up.
So that's good. We
Right.
know that's good. When he stops
Right.
getting interested in food or in human
Right.
treats or anything like that, we know that we're going to have to make some tough
Right.
decisions.
That'll be the time that he gets the decision what we're gonna do with him. But up
Yeah.
until that point, I'm not. I've had some people tell me that when they get to that point and stuff like that, that it's probably best for them to.
We learned that this year with Honey. We
Yeah.
let Honey take her natural course, and I don't think I'll do that again. I'm still
No.
traumatized over it.
But as long as he's eating and going to the bathroom and stuff like that, I'm gonna give him.
And it's
The
the
best
sweetest thing when Jim gets home and he brings our little dog up on his chest, and the little dog just lays his head and goes to sleep on Papa's chest. It's so sweet. So
So-
sweet.
Anyway,
So let's
No-
not
no
go
Debbie
down
Downer.
that Debbie Downer thing. Let's
So-
we're gonna wrap up. We're
Yeah.
at one hour now.
yeah.
But I do want to ask, because Papa Jim's not going to be with us for all of these tea times, so I've got him. I want to ask him, can you share with everybody what was your favorite part of our trip?
of our trip.
What stands out to you as like, I'm really glad I did that. That was my favorite part
Oh, I know what my favorite part of the trip was when I got to see my dogs. But I got
when
home.
you got home.
No, I would say probably the favorite part of the whole trip. One was seeing my younger brother. That was one of the upper ones. But as far as the area of going seeing or something other than family and our extended family in Tennessee, I would say probably. Oh, and we got to see Casey down in Georgia. That was nice. I would say my funnest part of the whole trip.
Not necessarily your funnest, but your favorite. What is the one thing that stands out? Like, I'm so glad we did that. And don't say what you think I want to do. I want to know what your favorite thing was. Stone Mountain.
Stone Mountain was because that's something I wanted to see for quite a while. So that's why I ran up and down the hill like a little kid. So
He did. He ran all over Stone Mountain. I've actually got video footage of him where he's intentionally trying to walk like Bigfoot.
right. Oh, and I gotta. Buc-ee's, that had to be a big one.
Oh, Buc-ee's. We had so much fun at Buc-ee's. I'll be putting a video out about Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's was pretty fun.
It's funny because we did not know there was going to be a Buc-ee's on our trip. And we started seeing signs for Buc-ee's. It's like, Buc-ee's, we got to go to Buc-ee's. Everybody has to go to a Buc-ee's at one point or another. So while we're driving, I mean, we were on an itinerary. I had a pretty full itinerary for us. I need to cut things back when we were just like go, 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 go all the time. And so I said, okay, here's the deal. We're going to pull off at Buc-ee's. We're going to get a drink,
Yeah.
hit the bathroom, buy one souvenir, and get back on the road because we're on a time constraint. We got to go. How long were we at Buc-ee's?
I don't know, over an hour.
Over an hour.
Yeah.
We were just walking and we took it all in. We were all over Buc-ee's for
That
forever.
was forever. I don't know. And then we got to go to my brain.
I don't know.
Rory Feeks.
Oh, we went to Rory
Feek's
Feek's
concert.
farm. We went to a concert. We got
On
to
his
watch
farm.
Rory Feek in a concert, and that was much more enjoyable than even I anticipated it would be. I really thoroughly enjoyed his concert.
And then we went to go to the diner. His deceased wife or whatever, and his sister has a restaurant, and so Marcy Joe's.
If you know anything about Rory Feek and Joey Feek and their story, and then how Joey and Rory's sister have this restaurant called Marcy Joe's. When we were at the concert, I had purchased a Marcy Joe's cookbook because I want to do some videos of Marcy Joe's. We got coffee cups.
I had to get a coffee cup.
We got 4 of them. And so I had her cookbook, and in the middle of the concert, which I'm talking it was an intimate concert. There were less than 300 people there. It was in their barn. Everybody just sitting around, and Rory sang some really beautiful songs and some funny songs. And in the middle of the concert, his sister came up. He introduced his sister, and they were talking, and she had autographed some books for some of the people. And she was, calling them up and saying, "Oh, I got your book autograph." I'm like, "I didn't get an autograph." And Jim goes, "Do you want an autograph?" I was like, "Yeah, I want an autograph." So after she left the stage, he got up out of the concert and walked past probably 10 people. You know how it is like when you're in the theater and you got to get past everybody's legs without sticking your butt in their face. And he runs out to the main part and he tracks her down to get the autograph. And so I got my book autographed by her. And then we went and had breakfast there the next morning.
Mhm.
And our waitress was one of Rory's daughters. It was Hopi. And so Hopi sat with us, and I got a couple of pictures with Hopi and shared my story with her a little bit. We just had a really nice time.
So I had a lot of places I really enjoyed.
I did
I
too.
don't know if I have. What's your favorite?
My favorite,
I mean, there were so many different things.
I think my favorite thing was getting to have the unlimited access and some VIP treatment at Laura Ingalls' home.
Mhm.
They treated us very good at Laura
Mhm.
Ingalls at the museum. And
A lot of the places, like when we went to, what was that battlefield called near Lookout Mountain?
Chickamauga battlefield was
Rangers
amazing.
were really nice.
The Rangers were great. I mean, I don't think we had one negative experience. Is it the same negative experience?
I don't know.
We had one negative experience, and it was at a hotel we stayed at. Is that what you're thinking
Yeah.
about?
Oh man, somebody almost got it. That's all I can say is somebody almost got it.
We had secured a hotel for an overnight when we were going to go to this concert. And my very dear friend decided she wanted to go to the concert too. And she was going to bring her mother, who I haven't seen in forever. And so I secured a hotel, but she didn't know it. So she secured 3 rooms at another hotel so we could all get together for this concert. Well, then her mother ended up not feeling well and they couldn't come. And she couldn't get a refund on these 3 rooms. So I invited other people, let's go to this concert. We've got extra tickets for the concert. We got extra rooms. So my other friend who was going to go with us, she ended up getting sick. So her husband came with us. And so we've got 3 rooms at this hotel. And we get there, and the first room we walk into, the door's not even shut. Door's wide open. And you walk in and it smells like a bar. that, or like a casino that
No,
people have smoked in
like a
for
casino.
50 years. It
Right.
just smelled so bad of cigarette smoke.
I mean, anybody who's ever stayed in a room in a smoking motel room knows the smell.
And this is a non-smoking room.
Right. Yeah. There was no smoking rooms, I don't think, at all. But anyway, you'll know the smell of something that's been boxed up. The AC's been ran. It just has that unique.
Ugh. So I went back up to the front. And I said, we haven't even gone into the room. The door's open. I don't know why the door's open. It smells terribly of cigarette smoke.
They knew.
They knew. You know what she did? She handed me a can of Lysol. She goes, here you go. I was like, Lysol. Lysol's not going to help this. So we ended up getting a different room. So we put our guest in another room that didn't smell bad. And then we ended up getting a room upstairs. And I don't know what time it was. Somewhere in the middle of the night, you hear a commotion
Early
outside our
night.
room. Like
Early
2 in the morning.
Well, no, I don't think it was 2 a.m. I think it was more of like 11. The first commotion went on, where she was yelling at him, right?
Yeah, somebody wanted their $40
Right,
for services rendered.
or whatever it was. But anyway, so and then the male left, and then it quieted down. Thought it was over with. Then at 2 or 3 in the morning,
He came back.
He came back, except he forgot what room it was, and he banged on our door.
So he's knocking on our door, trying to find his lady of the night that he owed $40 to. We're just sitting there going, what's happening? What's happening? This was supposed to be a nice hotel. I wish we would have gone to our other hotel and just made a pallet or
Right.
got an extra bed for our friend
Right.
and not stayed at this one. I'm going to be writing them a very strongly worded letter. But we got up, and I'm not going to leave them a very nice review. When we got up in the morning, Papa Jim's like, I'm going to go on down. They have a continental breakfast. I'm going to go down. I'm going to get a coffee. He's like, don't you dare. We will go somewhere else and get coffee. You are not eating anything out of that kitchen. It was one of those hotels where you're just like, ick when you leave. So they're going to be getting a bad
And
review
then
for me.
we changed up plans, and originally we weren't going to go up through Illinois, and then we ended up going up through Illinois, and we stayed at that.
We stayed at Days Inn, and it was
at
great.
Days Inn, and it was great staff. They had a little
Their breakfast was
bar
nice.
thing was nice and stuff. Great. I mean, had a little across the road was a little 50s diner. It was really
Yeah,
a good
so
deal.
you never know what you're
Never
going to find.
know.
Some place that was supposed to be really, really good that my friend paid an arm and a leg for. I didn't want the rooms to go to waste. Was horrible. Probably the worst place we've stayed in 10, 15, 20 years. And then this little Days Inn on the side of the interstate was
Yeah,
just wonderful. It was
we were
clean and lovely.
we were pretty much a little short of being on the 8 o'clock morning news, probably. Banging on that door, man.
He couldn't get me out of there fast enough.
Good Lord.
Ah!
Man. But anyway, we had a good trip. So what was your favorite?
My favorite, I think, was getting to go and learn so much more history about Laura and Almanzo.
Gosh, but there's another thing too.
Oh, what was the other thing? There were so many fun
Yeah.
things. I can't tell you how many.
Going to the Franklin battle.
The battle, the Civil War battlefield at the Carter House
Carter
at
House.
Franklin. And I was sharing this with you guys before that, I mean, that docent, the historian that was telling us these stories had me in tears. I mean, we were in the basement of this home and I was just weeping because he brought humanity to the story of this battle of this Civil War. And I've got videos that I'm still trying to edit to get out for you guys, but amazing stuff. Papa Jim's still on the fence and on something that we're kind of toying with. There is a reenactment group here. I do want to go to their Christmas party on Saturday for this reenactment group. They're a Civil War reenactment group. And I think it'd be fun. I think I've already shared with you guys a few things in our last little tea chat.
She's got to explain it.
What?
Rochelle,
She said, I'd be like, give me 20 and let's call it a night.
what is that? That is, yeah, man. Partial service.
Partial service. No refunds.
Good Lord. Hopefully she asked before, not.
Okay, enough
All right,
of that.
all right.
All right. So you know what, guys?
So,
I
yeah.
told you yesterday, and I did let Papa Jim know what I've got planned for today because I didn't want it to be too much of a surprise for him. But we do have two things planned for today. Gave you guys a hint yesterday. And so we're going to get bundled up. How cold was it this morning? 12 degrees?
This morning?
Yeah.
Oh no, it was good. Well, when I checked the phone, it was 10 degrees.
Okay.
But I think I got 8 degrees last night.
8 degrees. But when I finally woke up, I think it was around 12 degrees.
Right.
So we're going to get bundled up. We're going to hop in the car. We're going to go do our two great things that I want to do today. I'm going to take lots of footage of it, more things that I'm going to have to try to edit. I'm so far behind on editing. I mean, I'm still trying to edit our Tulip Time Festival from May. Trying to get that out there. But when I'm snowed in for weeks on end, when the snow finally hits, then I'll have plenty of time to edit. But we're going to do that. And I already told myself I'm going to try to persuade him to do these couple of things with me today and what I will use as leverage is I was going to take him to his new favorite restaurant where we're going. And I told him today, I said, I'm not going to keep it a secret. I want to do this today and I want to do this today. And he's like, okay. And we can go to lunch at such and such. It's like, see, he already wants to go to the restaurant I wanted to take him to. So that works. So no complaining when we go do the fun things I want to do. Rochelle says it's going to be 34 and nice and sunny. Oh, going to an outdoor Christmas market tomorrow. The weather is nasty up there right now. It's beautiful. It's sunshiny. Like we said, the Blue Jays are out and they're visiting us.
It's just cold.
It's just cold. But it doesn't looking out right now, it doesn't look like it's too terribly windy. The wind last night, you guys, the wind last night, I almost took my phone into one of the rooms where you can hear the wind blow through the grove. And so I could just record the sound of it and have you hear just how windy it was here last night. My goodness. It was windy. It was howling. It was scary. I'm so glad we've got the grove to protect us.
You could hear the wind blowing.
Yeah, because it's on that side of the house where the grove is protecting. And as it comes through the grove, it's like, Sleepy Hollow kind of scary stuff. So
what? It's 80 here today.
80 where Nicole is.
Oh man. 80 degrees.
It's almost sweater weather. When we lived in California, if it was 70 when we were in California, 60s, it's like that's cold.
Yeah, 60s. We thought that they were going to shut the state down.
Yeah, now it could be in 20s and 30s, and we're outside in a t-shirt.
I am. You're not. You try to tease.
There's been times. Give me some credit. So we're gonna get on with our day.
She's pulling your guys' leg, man. She's underneath 6 blankets and
there's times I go outside to do chores, and if I work up a nice sweat, I will take my jacket off and work in my t-shirt.
I'll literally be in sweatpants, shorts, and a t-shirt, sitting on the couch watching TV, and she'll be in a flannel nightgown wanting a blanket over her legs.
Tell them about the blanket you got me. You guys, you gotta listen to this blanket he got me. I'm so hysterical. I love it.
Which blanket?
The blanket I've been wrapping up the last 2 nights.
Your tortilla blanket?
He got me a tortilla blanket.
It's a blanket. They've had to see them.
Have you guys seen them? It's a round blanket, and it's a tortilla.
I mean, really, it's amazing of how much this thing was.
They can't hear you. He walks into another room and he's talking to you guys. It's like you can't hear him. Don't drag it on the floor. Look at my tortilla blanket.
Does that not look like a tortilla?
I love it. It's and I wrap up. You wrap me up like a burrito. I wrap up like a burrito in my tortilla
so
blanket.
When I first got it, I made her close her eyes and I wrapped her like a burrito in it.
It's one of my favorite blankets.
But then
I didn't drop a hint for him to buy me this one. I had no idea this one was coming.
So, but then after I gave it to her, I took a bite of her shoulder, but it was.
He said, "Holy guacamole!"
It was a spicy burrito, man. Woo!
Holy enchilada!
Holy enchilada! What a whopper!
Oh, we're gonna have a fun day today. We're in good moods.
Well, now I am. Wait.
He came home last night and he busted his lip open at work. He was not in a good mood. So he'll be in a good mood today. We're gonna have fun today. All right, so now I need an avocado pillow. The place where we're going to eat, they've got this blanket on the wall, and they have a taco pillow.
A taco pillow.
But yeah, an avocado pillow. What? You behave yourself. Stop. Stop. He's so naughty. I know Rochelle's going to be like, she knows what you're laughing about. Look at his shoulders. People are going to wonder if the recipe really is in our cider this morning. Stop it. All right, friends. We're going to go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We had a really fun time today. We've missed you guys. I know you guys have missed Papa Jim. I've gotten some letters saying, where's Papa Jim? We need Papa Jim. So I'm glad Papa Jim was willing to
Well, you might not be saying that when
when they catch on to that
when they
last one.
shut your channel.
Shut my
down.
channel down because he can't behave himself.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to get dressed. We're going to go have lunch at his favorite restaurant, including the Taco Pillow.
We're gonna go tour the Earwax Museum.
Tour the Earwax Museum. That's not where we're going today. We're not going to an Earwax Museum. We're going to go to two really fun places that I've been wanting to go to for a long time. And then we'll talk about them tomorrow, since then the cat will be out of the bag. And then I'll see when I can get my videos up for those places. So, but you guys have a great Saturday. Thank you for spending some time with us today. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Don't forget your kindness act.
Make sure you smile.
Make sure you smile at a stranger and make their day. And we will see you tomorrow at 10:15. And we will have our infuser ready, and we will have our little bunny rabbit ready, because we have no idea what kind of tea we will be pulling out of our advent calendar. So thank you so much, friends. Love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye to all of you. I haven't read anything.